What about this running back position? Samantha, I mean, we've got legitimate guys on bye when it comes to the running back position, you know, whether it's a Dalvin Cook, whether it's a Miles Sanders, whether it's now a Darrell Henderson. We've got other reasons we may have to replace guys. And we're talking about, you know, trade buds for some others. Who are some running backs you have on the radar this week?
Sure, this is a pretty bad week for the running backs. I mean, in a way, it was good because there were no major injuries, no Javonte Williams type things. But Kenyan Drake definitely turned heads. He is only 5% rostered, had a fantastic day, 10 carries for 119 yards and a touchdown. This was his first 100 rushing yard game since week 10 of 2020. Currently the RB4 in half PPR scoring with one game left. Now his role was clearly augmented in the second half because star running back J.K. Dobbins was held out of the entire second half due to this knee discomfort related to the turf at MetLife Stadium. I don't know if you guys remember this, but like a couple of years ago, a whole bunch of people got injured on this turf. So
the entire San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the entire 49ers team got hurt on the turf at MetLife.
Right. And I was working for the New York Post at the time, and I was like, is there something going on with this turf? I mean, it didn't translate to wins for either New York team, but certainly is something to keep an eye on because J.K. Dobbins is coming back from that torn ACL. I don't think this was like a major injury, but it could mean like they think about load management a little bit more. So, you know, Kenyan Drake could be someone that ends up sort of returning value there. They also face Cleveland's defense next week, they're just super porous against the run. They haven't been able to stop anyone, been torched by Ramondre Stevenson, everyone so I definitely like that matchup. He would probably be like my top one. I mean, Deion Jackson is the hero of the week, if you want to say that. I mean, he was 43% rostered, definitely looked brilliant. He's the RB heading into Monday night, but it's like there's no shelf life on him probably because Jonathan Taylor seems like he's going to return. I mean, it's possible that, you know, because he was so involved in the passing game and he caught 10 targets last week. So, I mean, maybe because he was so involved in the passing game, they start to use him as a change of pace back, but that's kind of what Nyheim Hines is. And I think that Hines is going to return. He's in the concussion protocol, but it's probably another week or so. So Deion Jackson is maybe like a flash in the pan type situation. I mean, it's great if you had him and you started him. And then the rest of the guys, it's like a whole bunch of bums. Dane, I've got Caleb Huntley on here from the Falcons, who split carries with Tyler Algier. Neither of them were that exciting. We talked about Foreman and Hubbard. Jaylen Warren is someone I would say keep an eye on, even though he had a very bad game. Mike Tomlin did say he wants to get Jaylen Warren more involved. And the week prior, he actually outsnapped Najee Harris. And with Najee Harris's sort of like speckled injury history, I would say definitely Warren might be worth an add, especially in deeper leagues.
You know, I'm intrigued by that. You know, I think I made the point, whether it was last week or previously, right here on the Fantasy Flex, rookie running backs, of which Warren is one, they tend to grow in touches, in trust, and in production as the season goes along. You mentioned Warren, but also, you know, yesterday we had a big game out of Breece Hall. Again, another nice effort out of Kenneth Walker III in Seattle. We saw Robinson lead the Commanders in touches on Thursday night. And so we're now starting to get to the point where these rookie running backs know the playbook, know pass protection, and can also be kind of a fresh body and get more and more opportunities. So that Warren call is interesting. I wonder, though, with Drake, I really do wonder if J.K. Dobbins is going to be healthy or not, because in the last couple of games with Dobbins there, Drake took a definitive back seat. So I do recommend checking on the kind of status and the prognostication on J.K. Dobbins before spending fab budget on Kenyan Drake. What about you, Mike? What kind of running backs are on your radar? Or do you agree with Samantha that these guys are all scrubs?
Yeah, my best advice is don't waste any of your fab budget this week. Look, Drake is interesting, especially if fab budget's not a consideration, if you just have a high waiver priority, because he's the hot hand right now. And J.K. Dobbins, if J.K. Dobbins does play a lot, he is not J.K. Dobbins yet. He has not looked great recently. Gus Edwards is supposed to come back, but he's not supposed to be 100% for the rest of this year. So there is a chance that Drake could be the guy with the most pop, and they could go with the hot hand, but it's too crowded to expect anything major there. It's even more crowded in Atlanta. I would not go chasing Caleb Huntley because, just because he got those touches, he's already splitting with Tyler Algier, and just wait till 2 more veterans come back off the injury list, including Cordell Patterson there. So if you're just playing with a roster spot, the idea of someone like a Jalen Warren or a Mark Ingram who might turn into a lottery ticket is probably a much better bet.
And I like something you said there, Mike. Like, you don't have to put a claim in every week. You know what I mean? You don't, like, to be quite honest, there are some leagues, especially leagues where I'm doing well, where I purposely, even if there is a decent ad out there on the wire, I save my priority, especially if I have a good team, because I'm going to use that in case one of my guys get injured. Then I know that I can kind of pivot with confidence that I'll get the guy when I really need him instead of these speculation plays. So I like what you say there, Mike, in terms of not having to make a claim or use your budget or priority every single week.